Hey Embers, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video from me. Today's video was inspired by PS2 Mini Games here on YouTube. Every so often he will talk about CEX price increases and decreases, and why did I say it like that? Decreases. It made me want to look at my own collection in terms of value, which is something I very rarely do because I'm not a reseller or anything like that. And so for today's video, I thought I would go through my top 10 most expensive PlayStation 2 games from least expensive to most expensive. There are no rule of roses here. There's nothing majorly expensive here, I will say. But before we get on with that, I did want to give a couple of honourable mentions. So I am using CEX to price these. So as of December 2023, I'm using those CEX prices of what they sell for. Of course, you cannot do that with NTSC games and foreign games because CEX do not sell them. So my first honourable mention is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the Japanese version. I tried to look for on eBay for this one to try and price it, and it goes for anywhere between £10 and £25. Even at that value, it would make this list, but I cannot verify how much this is actually worth, so that's why it hasn't made the list. And my second honourable mention is Drac and the Ancient's Gates, the NTSC version. So the PAL version of Drac and the Ancient's Gates did not make this list. But as I don't live in America, I don't know the exact value of the NTSC version. I know for me it was quite expensive to get it sent over to the UK. I paid quite a bit of money for it, but I don't know how much it's worth in America. So for all my American viewers, please let me know how much the NTSC version of this is worth, because I don't know if it would make this list or not. So that's all the honourable mentions out of the way. Let's start with my least expensive PlayStation 2 game. Again, we are only doing top 10, or this would go on for ages. So in last place, but not really, because 3 of them have come in at the same price, is surprisingly Bratz Rock Angels. So this is currently selling on CEX for £8, which I think is quite a marked price increase, because I think I only paid a couple of pounds for this, you know. So this is definitely a nostalgic game for me. Have I played it? Yes. Would I play it again? Probably, in the right mood. But yes, coming in at the bottom of the list is Bratz Rock Angels at £8. Next up, I've popped this at number 9, but it is technically joint with Bratz Rock Angels, also for £8, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. I absolutely love the Baldur's Gate franchise. I haven't played the new one. Please don't come for me. I would like to soon. Of course, based on Dungeons & Dragons. And I do have fond memories of the Baldur's Gate games. Coming in at number 8, but technically, again, joint with the other 2, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds, again, currently selling in CEX for £8. Love this game, love Buffy, need I say more. In at number 7 is Harvest Moon A Wonderful Life Special Edition. This is currently selling in CEX for £12. So we've gone up £4. I haven't actually managed to play this Harvest Moon game yet, but some people say, I've heard it quite a lot, that it is the best in the franchise. I don't think it will beat Back to Nature for me, but we shall see. Number 6 on my list, but technically tied, is Dark Chronicle. This also comes in at £12 on CEX currently. This is, of course, the sequel to Dark Cloud. Will Dark Cloud make this list if the sequel has? Let's see. And again, I do feel like this has gone up in price since I last checked, because I don't recall this game being that expensive to buy. Okay, we're in the top 5 now. And following straight on from its sequel, of course, Dark Cloud made the list. This is currently selling in CEX for £15. I have actually seen one of these in my local CEX. It's been there for quite a while, and I was tempted to pick it up, but of course I already have the game. It's just such a fantastic game. I feel like you need doubles. I absolutely love Dark Cloud, and if you haven't played it, I would highly encourage you to play it. So it's worth £3 more than its sequel, make of that what you will. That is typically the case. Sometimes a sequel will outprice the original, not very often though. Coming in at number 4 of my most expensive PlayStation 2 games, of course Shadow Hearts was going to end up on this list at one point. This is the 3rd game in the series, Shadow Hearts from the New World, and in my opinion the worst. And this is currently selling in CEX for £18. So £3 more than Dark Cloud. Would I pay £3 more for this over Dark Cloud? I actually don't think so. I want to take a moment in this video now to give another big shout out to PS2 Mini Games. Every time he mentions Shadow Hearts on his channel, he is mentioning me. So here you go, I'm mentioning you back. We're in the top 3 now, and I'm sure you can guess what might be coming up considering what I just showed you. Coming in at number 3 is the second game in the Shadow Hearts series, and that is Shadow Hearts Covenant. Now this one has dropped significantly since I purchased it actually. So we jump all the way up to £32 for the top 3. So between place number 4 and place number 3, we have jumped up £14 difference. Like I say, I think £32 for this game is actually a steal, so if you are hoping to add this to your collection, I would add it now. Like I say, I paid significantly more, and I have a feeling that this will go up in value again as time goes on. Now, this isn't my favourite game in the franchise. My favourite game is the original. Will we see the original? Let's find out. But I do really, really enjoy this game. This is probably, again, people who like Shadow Hearts. Most people tend to say that Covenant is their favourite. I disagree, but it is a very, very good game. Coming in at number 2 is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on PlayStation 2. This will currently set you back a whopping £42 in CEX. I think I paid a little bit less for mine, but this has always been on the slightly higher end for PlayStation 2 games. Not really for PlayStation 2 games, that's a lie. It's always been on the slightly higher end for Harry Potter games. Not including Hogwarts Legacy, which is fairly recent at the time of this video. This is the most expensive Harry Potter game out there. We have yet to see if Hogwarts Legacy will hold its value, of course, only time will tell, but at the moment this is the one that has held its value the most, largely because it had a very limited run on the PlayStation 2, and you will see this game far more often on the PlayStation 1. So again, at the moment this will set you back £42, which is a whopping £10 more than the previous entry, Shadow Hearts Covenant. Again, is that worth it? For a collector, I guess so. I am a collector of Harry Potter video games. Side note, it is one of my goals to collect every single Harry Potter game on every single platform, and I am pretty much there with that goal. So is it worth it for me? Of course it is. Is it worth it for an everyday player rather than a collector? Maybe not, actually. But again, if you do have the finances, I would probably grab this now because I can see this going up in value as well. But don't quote me because you're not running to me if it doesn't. So, of course, we are now at number 1, my most expensive PlayStation 2 game in my collection. And I'm sure based on the previous games, you can guess what this is. Of course, it is the original Shadow Hearts, my most expensive game in my collection of PlayStation 2-wise, and I'm so proud that it is, actually, because this game deserves it. It really does. This is an underrated gem, and you should absolutely play this if you haven't. So at time of recording, this will set you back an astounding £55 in CEX, and I really mean that because I don't have a huge amount of income to spend on video games. I'm certainly not rushing to CEX to buy Rule of Rose for £570, put it that way. I don't have a great deal of income extra for video games, so £55 to me is huge, actually. It really is. So what I would say is if you can afford that, please don't go out of your way, but if you can afford that, then I do highly, highly recommend this game. You will not be disappointed. And once again, I do think this is one that is going to go up in value as time goes on. So again, just over £10 from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So you can see when we get to the top 3 and top 4 how big the price increases really are. And for other PlayStation 2 collectors, again, I'll shout him out, PS2 Mini Games. I'll also give a shout out to Dan the Games Man. I know they have PlayStation 2 games in their collection that far trumps this at £55. Sometimes you sit back and think, should I really spend this much on a game? For this one, yeah, I think so, if you can. So that's it. Once again, my most expensive PlayStation 2 game of 2023 is Shadow Hearts. I'd like to revisit this next year and see what's changed. CEX prices tend to fluctuate quite a bit, so let's do that, shall we? Next December we will do this video again and see what the difference is. Now, I can do this for other games on other platforms. Let me know if you would like a top 10 Xbox games, etc, etc. I can do that. I have also done a video on my channel, which I'll link below, of my personal top 10 favourite PlayStation 2 games. And spoiler alert, some of the games shown today are in that list. So thank you very much for watching. If you feel comfortable sharing, please let me know what your most expensive PlayStation 2 game is. This is purely for fun. Of course, it's not a competition. Some of my favourite games cost me £2. So it really isn't a competition. It's just for fun, just for knowledge. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye Embers.